lot's happened since yesterday.
Chio, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you, man?
I'm excellent, man. You just woke up because you're a morning guy. I don't know how in the blue hell you find. My dog kicked me awake at fucking 4:30 in the morning, and I was dead the entire day. And you're just all bright-eyed and spry.
Dude, he's been up for like hours. What are you talking about?
I've been up since 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and the way I do it is I go to bed at 7:30.
Oh my gosh!
Call me an old man, but that's how you get it done.
Well, you've been doing morning radio for a long time though, yeah?
Morning radio since 1988.
Holy shit!
So yeah, so what we got? 88. 22, right? 22 years, yeah. So 18 was 20. 22 years I've been doing morning radio, yeah. Long time.
Shoo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to Chio, who happens to be my blood relative. He's my cousin, but he is a very successful radio personality. And I'm honored to have him on the show. I mean, he's my blood relative, but he knows a lot about the music industry and the radio industry, and he's been working in it for years. And he's been a very successful morning radio DJ, which is a big deal. I don't know if you guys know this, but correct me if I'm wrong, Chio. Morning guys are the hottest thing, right, in radio?
We would be the quarterback.
Right. Okay.
To call it in football terms, we would be the quarterback, the most important position on the team. Correct.
I could see that too, because I mean, even growing up, I mean, I'm out in California. That's where I was born and raised, and even I grew up in. Every morning, I think of all the morning guys today. You know, we have all the LA guys, and most of the afternoon. I mean, no disrespect to them, but I can't really think of a lot of afternoon guys that I can name who weren't morning guys first. You know, they're always the guys that you look forward to kind of get up and get started.
Well, I think I don't think that's just you. I think generalizing a morning person, a morning radio disc jockey talks more. We have more room to talk, so it makes and some of the things we do with the radio bits, etc. In our business, we call it sticky content. Sticky content. So sticky content sticks, hence the term sticky, as where this jockey is just talking for a little bit, like 20 seconds in between songs or a minute. We have more leeway to do more stuff, get your personality out there more, and people remember that. So when we do something, that's memorable, it's called sticky content.
Well,
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes total sense.
You're one of the top guys, and you've done stuff in the East Coast, which is huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that. East Coast is huge. It's like a big city, dude. There's a lot of people. And you were one of the top morning guys in a lot of different areas. Z100, Q106 in San Diego. What was the one in Philly?
Well, Philly, I was on a bunch of stations in Philly. So
but you were a top DJ. You were one of the top morning guys.
I did mornings in Philly from 2000 on Q102.
Q102, okay.
That went from 2000 to the end of 2005. And then 2006 to 2013, I was on Wired 96.5. So the competitor of Q102. That's like saying because you're out in California, outside of Los Angeles, or not too far from there.
Right.
That's like saying Kiss FM and Power 106. like the competitors.
So how
that
does
makes
that
sense.
work for you? Like you're working at a station, does it just end and then you go, well, shit, I'm out of a gig, or do you get another job? I mean, does it work kind of similar to the like trading of a athlete where they go, you know, how does that work?
Well, two things happen in my business. So number one, you get fired. So that's one.
Okay.
And then you find another job. Number two, you leave for a better job. Those two things, that's it. So to answer your question, how does that happen from when I was on Q102 to the end of 05, So during 05, at Q102, I wasn't feeling the management. You know, new management came in.
Right.
So, which is, for the most part, that's never a great thing.
Why?
So
Why?
They come in. Why? Because they want to bring their own people. They didn't hire you.
Oh, okay.
So they may like you and stuff, but you're not. You know, we all have different opinions.
Right.
You know, one person might like a BMW. The other person likes Mercedes Benz. I prefer BMW.
Right.
Doesn't mean one is better than the other. So they come in, they want to do their own thing. They didn't really hire you, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't feeling the love during the last year of my contract. So before I let them and my contract run out or fire me, say we're not going to re-sign you, I was looking for other work.
Gotcha.
in that entire year. So come December, you know, I rolled out, and then when it's called a non-compete. When my non-compete ran out, I was able to cross the street to the competitor. So
Gotcha.
That's how that works. You either get fired, or you just leave for a better opportunity.
Wow. Well, it sounds like the average thing in the business, even for the average person, they're at a job that they don't feel fulfilled at. You know what I mean? So they're going to start looking for something else.
Yeah.
But I know the radio business is much harder. You and I, because we're relatives, we've talked about it. We've had plenty of phone conversations, and you've told me a lot about the business. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, the business is like, you know,
cutthroat.
It's cutthroat.
Yeah.
So yeah. So but that's why I respect you so much for the fact that you've stayed in it for as long as you have. You have no quit in you, and that's something that you and I both have in common.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been more successful than I have been, but nonetheless, that's one thing we have in common. We both don't have quit in us. You know what I mean? We're just like, whatever, dude. I'm gonna keep going. You know.
It must be our grandma. Mamita.
Mamita. Yeah, Mamita was a strong woman.
She was three feet tall, living in I don't know, in the Bronx somewhere, not afraid of anything.
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about growing up in the East Coast. So you're from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx. You're from Brooklyn, but we used to always hang out together. What was your experience like growing up? I mean, be honest with me, bro, because the people want to know. They want to know what it was like growing up in the East Coast in Brooklyn. Mike Tyson's from Brooklyn, bro.
Yeah, what did the Bronx taste like?
Well, let's talk about Brooklyn first.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Okay.
when you know, Ralph just said, you know, Mike Tyson's from Brooklyn. The area that I grew up in wasn't where Mike Tyson came from. So that's number one. I mean, I grew up not poor, but just above that. Like, you know, we had a TV. Ralphie's apartment. My cousin Ralph Busso, he had a better apartment. His dad was doing some stuff. They had nice furniture, whatever. But no, growing up, I grew up in a town called Borough Park, which, by the way, it's in the news lately because of the whole COVID thing. It's a big Hasidic Jewish neighborhood.
Okay. And
still, to this day, it is still an Hasidic Jewish neighborhood, mostly Jews. And then in our apartment building, we had mostly Jews, Hasidic Jews, And then you would have, like, I was Puerto Rican, my family's Puerto Rican, the super was Puerto Rican. You know, you have a couple Puerto Rican families, one black family, one or two blacks, and like one Italian family. And that's everyone else.
There was only one guy making pizza. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Dude was making bank.
My next door neighbor, Mike Souza, the Souzas.
Mike Souza. I remember you were a big baseball fan. You played baseball. You were actually pretty good for a while, right?
Yeah, when you know, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness as a kid, I mean, I never got baptized. I didn't play any organized sports in Brooklyn, but I did play, you know, in the street, you know, handball, softball, wiffle ball, stickball, street football, even street hockey on foot. But once when my family moved from Brooklyn to Lake Placid, Florida, I was 13 years old. And in the religion, like when you hit 13 or 14 at a certain age, the leaders of the church, I'm going to call it church because regular people don't know what a kingdom hall is.
Right.
You know, they call it, they don't call it church. They call it kingdom hall, but it's their church.
Okay.
So the leaders of
sounds
the
cooler
kingdom
than church,
hall,
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It does.
They call it, how you call it? They say when you're like 13, 14, 15, they can't force you to go to the kingdom hall. So that's when I stopped going, and I got in high school. Like, believe it or not, I got into organized right before high school, 8th grade. I got into organized sports for the first time in my life. Played baseball, and I was pretty good at that time. I was a 3-time most valuable player in high school. Bam.
No, I remember that, man. You were good, dude. You were good.
And I had a lot of passion for it. And then my junior year, I became the high school disc jockey. So, like, you know, back then in the 80s, you know, we had a lot of high school dances and homecomings after football, big football games, etc. They needed a DJ, so I partnered with another classmate because I didn't have the money to get all the equipment myself, and I really enjoyed doing that. And then my junior year, I became a disc jockey at a roller skating rink, and I loved the equipment. Was really nice, and I'd be behind like a glass window, and all the girls would come up to request songs, and I'd make the announcement, you know, all right, now we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna do couples only. So get the fuck off the skating rink if you're not a couple, you know. And I enjoyed that a lot. So my passion in 11th and 12th grade, because you can't make it as an athlete or in anything you do in life without passion. My passion started waning away, and I started liking the DJ thing. So I just lost it. I played. I won MVP my senior year, but I just didn't have it. You gotta to make it in any kind of sport. You really gotta be talented. Gotta have the physical ability, but you really have to have passion to go to the next level from high school to college or, like, you know, single A ball or something like that. But I did love playing. Like, looking back at my high school years, I loved playing baseball. I'm a smaller guy, so I never really played football. But baseball was the sport I enjoyed. And I enjoyed my high school years. I don't know about you guys. I enjoyed my high school years.
Yeah, but you may be a smaller guy, but I know that you never back down from anybody.
Oh no,
because I grew up with you.
Yeah,
and I remember times where we were just like, okay, well, these dudes want to rock, let's rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing about Chio, dude. He doesn't back down. When did it become from just a passion, and you're working at, you mentioned your first job. But when did you decide, okay, I'm going to take this to a professional level? And how did you go about doing it?
I went to, in high school, my senior year, I went to the library, and I looked up how much professional radio DJs make around the country on average. So before I tell you that number, I never got into it to make any money. It goes back to the passion thing.
Yep.
I had some high years making good money, but it was $15,000 a year. The average disc jockey, so that's taken half make more, half make less. So it wasn't about money, but I decided to go to a broadcasting school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, because I knew, like, you know, the books, like a college, no college can make a radio personality. That's got to come with from within. You know, Howard Stern is not successful because he went to college. He did go to college. But that's not what made him. That comes from within. So I didn't want to do the schooling, the books. I just wanted hands-on training. 8-month course, $5,000. So I took a little loan, etc. And I've been doing it ever since, which is I went to school. I graduated high school in June of 1984. And in August, I took a couple months off. In August, I moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is about, from where I went to high school, about like 2.5 hours away. And from August till March, did the broadcasting school, lived on campus at the school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and been employed. I'm very proud of this. Been employed since March of 1985. I have collected a paycheck every week since March of 1985, continuously.
Well, that's
a lot of people can't say that. That's probably the most proudest thing that I'm proud of, that I've collected a paycheck. Have I lost a couple jobs? Yes, but I also had a contract that they had to continue to pay me for like 6 months. So before the 6 months ran out, I found another job. So I was still getting paid, even though I was technically not working.
Yeah, so in that sense, you didn't technically lose the job, you just lost the work.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. No, that's something to be proud of for sure, bro. You know what I mean? But to be honest with you, because we grew up together, so I remember everything. I remember us hanging out at the studio. You were taking over for Casey Kasem. Casey Kasem, you were doing his show. You know what I mean? And we were talking to Belle Biv DeVoe. Now, some of the listeners are not going to know who Belle Biv DeVoe is, but they were members from a very, very prominent band back in what year was that?
New Edition was 80s.
New Edition was 80s.
Right.
New Edition was 80s, and then members, they became like Belle Biv DeVoe like in 90s.
And I'm sitting there with headphones on, watching my cousin doing a show. You know what I mean? Interviewing these guys from a major bands, major musicians, guys that are making millions and millions of dollars off of their art. At that time, it was, there was a lot more money in music, And I'm watching my cousin, and I'm like, damn, dude, this dude he's my cousin. He's impressive. He's really, dude, you're one of my idols, because you actually made me want to pursue my dreams. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Some of us get lucky, some of us don't. You know what I mean?
Correct. You're 100% right on that. Yes.
Yeah, but I think
luck plays a big role in life. Any type of life, a lot of times. I'm going to tell you that right now. Luck, right place, right time. So,
but
going back to you.
You're a hard worker, though, bro, and I love that about you. I respect that about you very much, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because not only are you, in my opinion, you're a celebrity, and also, in my opinion, you have a great work ethic, and I just wanted to get inside of your head for a little bit. Yeah, because there's a lot of young people out there that don't know, but they want to do that. And we want to continue things, right? We don't want things to go awry and all of a sudden there's no DJs, there's no musicians, you know what I mean?
Right.
We don't want things to fall apart by that. But speaking of that, I got to ask, what's your position on the COVID thing?
I think it's real shit, man. I think it's real. I think the problem that we're seeing right now in the country is people are slacking up. They're not taking it seriously. You know, everyone's tired of it. I don't get it. I don't, you know, I don't know how you feel about it. It doesn't matter how you feel about it as far as wearing a mask. Put the fucking mask on. You might be against the mask. Put the fucking mask on. Yeah. I mean, scientists say it helps. It's saving lives. I mean, how hard is putting a fucking mask on? I don't get it. When you go into Walmart, you go in the parking lot, you park the car, you put the mask on, you go in. I've yet to eat indoors at a restaurant. Where I am in New Hampshire, I don't know. I know California has been bad, but it ain't nowhere close to California. But it hasn't been that bad. It is rising again. But COVID is real. I read today that a Spanish scientist said, better get used to it because we're going to be wearing masks till 2023.
Really?
So it's not going it's not going anywhere. You know, I do all the things that I'm as careful as can be. The washing the hands, social distance. When I can't social distance, I got the mask. So I'm going to an event tonight. It's an outdoor bar that has seats like 300 people. And for the concert that I'm going to be at tonight, or show, whatever you want to call it, I don't know if you call it a concert, but they're sitting in quads of 4. So if I was going to go to the show with 3 of my other friends, it'd have to be like in my group, you, Cody, you, and somebody else. So family and friends. And then they're 6 feet apart. All the tables, so there's no standing and up in front, you know, like the pit. There's none of that. I'll be on stage. I'll be with my mask on. Now, when they're sitting down at their tables and I'm saying, hey, welcome to Bernie's Beach Bar, blah, 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 they're not going to have the mask on, just like if you go in a restaurant. If you're sitting down at the table, you could take the mask off to drink, to eat. But if you get up to go to the bathroom, you got to put it on. So it's real. It's real. What's going on with the president? That guy's just fucking nuts, man. He wants the whole rally. He wants the whole rally tomorrow. Yeah. I'm not making this up. He wants to do a rally tomorrow. The guy just had. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if he had COVID. If it's real, not real. You know, he is. You know, the conspiracy people are saying that it's not real, etc. I wouldn't put it past him because he is a reality TV star. Yeah. We know reality TV is full of crap. It's really staged. If anyone was to stage this, it would be Donald Trump.
That's true.
Now I believe he got it. But you know, I don't know. He had the best drugs, or these drugs aren't even approved yet. He says he's feeling great. He's acting wacko. He wants to throw a rally because he's feeling. I don't get it.
I remember seeing an article just recently that said, I wish I could find it. I'll try and track it down because I'll post it if I find it. But they basically said the medication that they gave him, one of the side effects is triggering a manic episode.
Correct.
And so he comes out going, I feel like I'm 20 years old. I'm the best president ever. This is amazing. Fuck you guys. I'm not doing shit.
I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel great.
And then the next day, it's almost like he woke up and went, wait, what just fucking happened? And they were like, dude, fix this. And so he comes back on Twitter. I'm just kidding, guys. I'll sign anything. I promise it's okay. Yeah. So it almost seems like what happened was, they gave him this shit and he just went AWOL thinking he was amazing. Correct. Why didn't they give this to everybody? And meanwhile, the doctors are going, because you lose your fucking mind, sir. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah, that is correct. So it looks like he has lost his mind. I don't think they're going to do rallies this weekend. If I'm a betting man, he might have said that shit on Twitter or whatever, or during a Hannity interview or something like that. I don't
see how they can. He's got COVID and he hasn't been symptom free for 14 days. I mean, that's the point of quarantine.
So,
how can you break that?
So Ralph, to answer your question, it's real, it's serious, and I can't wait till it's get back to some kind of normalcy.
So if we're going to delve into this, let's take a deep dive. Chio, if you feel the way you feel about, the current situation with the presidency and the COVID-19. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about? Let's even put the presidency aside for a second. Let's just talk about COVID. What are your thoughts? Because you grew up in a religious background. I'm curious to think what you think of this, because people are calling it a major pandemic. So I'm really curious to see what your thoughts on this is. Do you think this is something that's going to be a major plague like back in the biblical days or whatever, whether you believe in that or not? You know what I mean? Are you looking at it from that aspect? Are you looking at it from, it's the end of the world as we know it? Or are you looking at it from the perspective of this is a passing thing?
Well, the only thing I could compare it to, if you know a little bit about history, is the Spanish flu that happened in 1918. And I think it lasted like a couple of years or 2 or 3 years. So the end of the world, is it the end of the world? It could be. I don't know. I don't know. The Jehovah's Witnesses have been preaching, which is the religion that Ralph and I grew up in as kids, that the end of the world was, the signs. I just got a message from my mom the other day about the end of the world, the times we're living in. Times have been bad. If you look at history, we've had wacky times. To say, 1968, Google 1968. There was all kind of shit going on in 1968, with African Americans and America and all this crazy stuff. That was a wacky time. We're still here. World hasn't ended. But I don't know. I can't answer that question. Is it the end of the world? Because don't know. People say, like, do you believe in God, a higher power? I don't know if there's a God. I have no idea. I have never seen them, never talked to them. I have no idea. What would you call that? Agnostic, right? That they don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Almost a lot of people call it sitting on the fence. You know what I mean?
By saying. What do you mean sitting on a fence? Like, how do you know?
Yeah. Well,
how does anyone know? How does my
you're not taking a side. Exactly though. You're right.
It's faith.
Go ahead.
Faith. The definition of faith. Faith is not fact.
No.
Faith is not fact. So, who's telling the truth? Is the Muslims, are they the truth? Muhammad is their God. Everyone's got their own God. So Muhammad, Jehovah's Witnesses got Jehovah, whatever. I don't even think the Jewish people will believe in God. They just, I think they just live on earth, and that's it. This is all we got. This is it. Make the best of it. That's what I understand. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. Some people think Jesus is God. Everyone's got their own gods. What do we have? 20 gods? Or is there just one God?
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the 39 gods or however many gods are in Hindu religions. They've got tons of gods too.
Go. Yeah. The Christians got Jesus. The Indians they got Buddha.
Yeah.
Muslims got Muhammad.
And yet it's funny because all of those, no matter how they decide they want to tell you you're going to get there, it's all about making the world the place where everybody wants to live and are happy. And yet everybody makes the world shittier by making everybody believe what they want to believe.
Correct. No question about it. They're all saying the same thing. They're just spinning it differently in how they view it,
right.
How they dissect it, how they take a verse in the Bible, and just like anything else, we all have different opinions. And but you're right, that the theme of it, and this is why I like Buddhism. I love the Buddhist philosophy. It's kind of simple, man. Take care of yourself. Take care of thy neighbor. It's pretty much like the 10 Commandments. Follow the 10 Commandments and you're good.
It's a lot of do unto others kind of thing. My wife is a Buddhist, so it's kind of a karma thing, and do unto others and always pray for
I kind of believe that karma thing. I kind of believe that.
Yeah.
But wasn't that also the teachings of Jesus as well? You know, love your neighbor, love your fellow man as you would love your God. Meaning, don't hurt nobody to the point where you look at them as equal.
That is correct.
And it's like,
that is correct.
But no, but Buddha said that and not Jesus. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Forget my teachings. You don't agree with me.
You know, I was. Do you believe in
life after love? I sure do, brother.
Karma, do you believe in karma?
Fucking A. Absolutely.
I think karma is appropriate.
How about reincarnation?
I don't know about that one.
I honestly don't know. That one I think's a tough one. I really do.
If somebody told me, look, I'm from the Bronx, bro. If somebody told me I'm going to come back as a cockroach, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Because I fucking hate cockroaches.
And those motherfuckers live a long time.
Yeah, dude, I know. You can't kill them. You can't.
I've already got a crazy uncle named Charlie, dude. I don't need to become reincarnated as a freaking cockroach, okay? So
I tell you what, you can't kill them though. We're gonna fucking live forever with cockroaches.
It's true. It's true.
You know, you can't kill a cockroach, man.
You get to eat anything. You get to go anywhere because you can fit in fucking any size thing you want to.
That's like our family. Half of them got the COVID-19 and they're just fine. They're just like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, they're like at the beach and shit, you know? I'm like, true. Wow.
Dude, even Raid, even on the Raid commercials, they show the cockroaches and at least one or two of those motherfuckers don't explode because they ain't going to get all of them.
Growing up in Brooklyn, Ralph, I don't know if you remember when you would be at the in Brooklyn, man. We had cockroaches up the gazoo.
Oh, dude.
Everywhere. Man, you turn the light. We had to put the cereal and shit in like fucking Tupperware, bro, or put it in the refrigerator. I'm serious. I mean, you turn the light. You turn that light on. The fucking cockroaches were everywhere. I recall to this day my mom bombing the apartment in Brooklyn. You know, we buy those bombing things, those sprays, and you'd have to leave.
Have to bounce.
Yeah, you got to bounce for like however hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and there'd be thousands of cockroaches in a two-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn.
Oh my God!
Just you go to the bathroom, you turn the line on. Oh shit, man, I can't stand cockroaches either.
Because they don't die, bro. They multiply. You know what I'm saying?
Babies, kids? What the fuck?
That's the way they are. Cockroaches are like the most. They're like SEAL. They're like the SEAL team. You know what I mean? They're the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. They know how to survive. You know what I mean?
So how do you feel about COVID? Because you and I come from the same background. Is this a sign of the times? When people tell me sign of the times, there's been 8 million sign of the times. Not just today. The COVID is not just, there's been disasters. There's disasters all the time.
Well, especially when you see the statistics of like the H1N1 when we had it. It was pretty monstrous and it could be viewed the same way. They just didn't advertise it as hard as they have COVID.
Correct.
Yeah. It's just a weird journey watching how much they're covering it and watching how much they're like closing places down based on it. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in our lifetime. I think, we went through HIV, we went through what was that? Ebola. What was the other one? God, there's been so many, dude. But we've gone through so many of these different viruses that were scary as hell. And I'm you know what I mean? I agree 100%. Nobody wanted to get that shit, but now they're shutting everything down based off of this thing that, and it's weird because there's like all these examples of people that are getting over it and they said, well, it's not that bad. I mean, it wasn't any fun, but it's not a death sentence.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of mystery involved to it, I think, personally. I think there's a lot of mystery involved to it.
And there's a lot of melodrama, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness and look, I'm not going to sit here and put down either side of the party, the left or the right. But I believe that, you know, the right truly believes that this is probably all going to be over with after November 3rd. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right,
big portion.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then there's a big portion of them that I believe they think this is going to be over with because they basically think the left is like causing this to happen. They're making a bigger deal of this than it should be, you know? And,
well, but Ralph, you live in California. There's a lot of questions that are going unanswered out here.
Oh, I know. Oh,
you know,
dude,
it
know what I
does
mean?
beckon going, what the fuck, when it's just like, no answer.
Absolutely.
Just because we're going to close down another 6 months and fuck your businesses. It's kind of harsh, dude.
It seems like too much. You know what I mean? Yeah. Too many health officials and people in the public eye are going along with this. I just think that it's got to be real. It's got to be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's real, man. You know, and you know, you guys talking about California shutting down another 6 months, business is hurting. I don't know, open up the business. It's either live or die, right? That's what people are doing anyway. Well, you know, I was at the store the other day. You got to wear a mask in stores, and the lady, one lady didn't have a mask on. So obviously they think it's fake. Yeah. My friend calls it a plandemic, not a pandemic, a plandemic. And that's going to what you're saying about the right or the left. They think it's going to be over November 3rd. I don't think so.
No.
Well, it damn sure makes you think twice about like the flu season. You know, everybody, we're talking about the COVID, but if we don't have a vaccine by flu season, we need to double up on masks, should we not? You're going to have a flu season, and then you could get COVID on top of that. People are going to be dropping like flies if it's as bad as they're claiming it is.
Correct. Well, I'll tell you this. Speaking of vaccine, Ralph probably knows this. My mom was against vaccines from the jump. I have never been vaccinated in my entire life.
Really?
Not a one. I have never gotten the flu in my entire life. I don't go get the flu shot. I never got the flu shot. And I don't think I would get a vaccine for COVID. I'd have to look into that. But my mom was, you know, I guess you could say before her time, because now there are a lot of people that are against vaccines in general. My kids got vaccinated, you know, they just went with the flow. That's what everybody does. Yeah. So, et cetera. But I've never been vaccinated, man. Not a one.
So do you think that's a little bit of on the superstitious side of our family? Because our family is a little bit like that to a certain degree. I mean,
well, with my mom, she babysat for someone, you know, years ago. And I guess this is before I was born. And the child was a healthy child. This is where this came from. The child was a healthy child. And after the vaccination, the child became crippled. You know, it was a side effect, which obviously with anything, it's going to be, I can take my Xanax and read the bottle. There's going to be side effects to anything you take or whatever. So my mom is one of those people that if it happens one time, it can happen all the time. So my sister, your cousin Phoebe never got vaccinated. I never got vaccinated. And there are a lot of people that don't believe in the vaccinations too. So that's not superstitious. That's just her belief. And then when we moved to Florida, she found a chiropractic doctor who was a Jehovah's Witness. He was a big time Jehovah's Witness in Florida. Because, you know, my mom had to go to court in both Brooklyn and Florida to get me into school. I don't know if you remember. I didn't start first grade in Brooklyn until I was like 7 years old. I was like 2 years behind or a year behind.
Oh, because of the vaccination laws?
Yeah. They took her to court, the whole thing, and then finally they gave up. And then in Florida, when we moved to Florida in 79, 80, I was going into 8th grade, and they were going to do all that stuff. And somehow she got a hold of his brother, a chiropractor, and he had all this paperwork and stuff. And they just said, just sign this. This is religious beliefs or whatever. She goes, it's not religious beliefs. This has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witness. It has nothing to do with religious beliefs. But long story short, they let me in. I don't know how that will work. I don't know how that will work today. here where I live, so I live in New Hampshire. Next state over is Massachusetts, and they are forcing every child in school to get a flu vaccine, a flu shot. And there's a lot of people in uproar in the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Google it. They're like,
got to raise issues, man.
Yeah. So all my kids got all that stuff. I just went with the flow, and I think yes, do bad things can certain side effects happen? Yeah, of course, a small percentage, but it saves lives. But I don't know if I'd take a I don't know. I have to wait. I don't know if I'd take a COVID vaccine. I'm not sure.
Well, then you got to.
I've never had one.
If they do the COVID vaccine and you hang back and see what happens, wouldn't by nature enough people get vaccinated and then enough people get over it that even lessens your chance even more of getting it, so you're clear anyways? It would make sense to me.
Probably, yes. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think at that end, to force somebody to get something they don't really need would be a little rough. How are you going to walk into anywhere and go, hey, we got the COVID vaccine and you can't leave your house until you get it?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right. Well, but I'm not talking about the COVID. I'm talking in Massachusetts, the state of Massachusetts.
Right.
They're telling all the children need to get a flu shot.
Just period.
That's correct. That's a vaccine. That's a vaccine. And those people that are like my mom, that are anti-vaxxers, there's plenty of them out there. There's a lot of people in Mass that they want to sue the government or they don't want to do it.
Here's the problem I have with people trying to villainize, the quote unquote anti-vaxxers. Any kind of medications, if you look on bottles of every medication, hell, they have the Micro Machines guy talking 1,000,000 miles a minute telling you all the side effects of, birth control pills on TV. Everything has some kind of side effect. And yet they want to scoff at, Jenny McCarthy because she says her son got autism because of vaccine. They're like, oh, no, that bitch is crazy. Shut up. Is it crazy that her son might have been one of the unfortunate minority who suffered a side effect from the vaccine?
No.
I don't believe.
No, because that happens.
Right.
It's a small percentage that happens.
And we shouldn't dismiss them for being upset or making people aware of the possible consequences. We shouldn't silence them, and you damn sure shouldn't force somebody to get it if they're legitimately afraid of these consequences. It's not right.
No. Correct.
Oh man, this is a shit show coming. It feels like.
Well, everybody has the right to their own discretion. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why when they make movies, they rated PG. Viewer discretion is involved. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I can take my 13-year-old to a rated R. Oh, I think we lost.
Right, but but it's up to you to make that decision.
Yes.
It's up to you to make that decision. You don't. Nobody has the right to tell you this is fact because, like Chio mentioned earlier, something. You know what I mean? How do we know what's fact? We don't know. You know what I mean? There's no way to prove it 100%.
Yeah.
We could have our opinions. We could live our life based on theories, but you never know 100% sure what is fact. And I think that's an important thing to think about as an adult. You got to take that into consideration, especially if you're raising a family, because you want to let your kids have, in my opinion, my humble opinion, you want to let your kids have their own viewpoint. So to speak.
Yeah.
You want to let them grow up and kind of evaluate life and decide for themselves what's the right way to go, what's truth and what's not.
Right.
So you and we didn't really have that decision. I mean, your parents let you, they let you do what you wanted to do. My parents took a little bit of a different route. My father was a freaking gangster, so he had nothing to do with the decision. He got killed early on, but which sounds brutal, but it's the truth. But your parents backed you up when you decided, okay, I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't say backed you up, but that's the law in the Kingdom Hall. Like once the child gets at a certain age, you can't force it. So but But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Your dad always backed you up on that.
Oh yeah,
you and your dad were
correct.
super close. Yes, you and your dad were super close, and he wasn't going to give you a hard time. I mean, your mom is a little bit more, involved, and you know what I mean.
Yep.
But your dad totally was like, do what you want, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Correct.
So correct.
And that happens for a lot of people. A lot of people can relate to that kind of a situation, where one parent wants their child to go a certain way, and the other parent is like, let them choose their own road. You know what I mean? So you've done a lot in radio. Can you please let the audience know what were your favorite stations that you worked for and why? Because you worked for Z100 in New York, which is a big deal. You know what I mean? And you worked for a lot of big stations in California, in Philly. What were some of your favorites and why? And tell me what you thought, how you felt when you not to add too much to the question, but how did you feel when you knew you were getting really successful? You had a lot of people that were fans of yours, because you do. And you had success.
My first big break was when I reconnected with you in 1990 at Q106 in San Diego. Okay. So that was my entry to making like a decent salary. Nothing crazy over the top, but a decent salary. And that station was number one like all the time. So just being, and I have like pieces of paper of the ratings put away in my home in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, of us celebrating 14th ratings book in a row, number one. Damn. That station was massive. It's no longer around, but that was a massive station. What's my, I guess Z100 would be the ultimate in New York. I went back home. New York City, Z100 to this day, it's still Z100. One of the greatest, if not the greatest, top 40 radio stations ever is Z100. So that's on my resume, and no one can ever take that away from me that I did that for 3 years. But I love to just pick one. The most money I made was doing mornings in Philadelphia from 2000 to 13. So that was pretty good, making that kind of, even my first job was good. Making, what was I making, $150 a week in Sebring, Florida. I enjoyed that. It had nothing to do with money. More money, more problems. You just buy more junk. That's all. That's what we do in America. But my favorite, the biggest, Z100 was the biggest as far as the stage, doing shows at Madison Square Garden. I've been on stage at Madison Square Garden, bringing on like Courtney Love and fucking Green Day and shit in the 90s. I was part of Woodstock in Woodstock, New York, the 25th anniversary.
Wow.
Not any radio. We were the only radio station in America that was broadcasting from there with the equipment, like a radio broadcast, not calling in by the phone. Hey, it's me, Chio, here from Z100, on Z100, and we're live here in Woodstock. We were there doing our shows with the big boombox radio thing, people walking around naked and mud. So the biggest stage was that. That was the biggest stage. But remember, I was a nighttime disc jockey. I was on 7 to 10 at night. I was not the quarterback. Not that it mattered. I never wanted to be the quarterback. I wanted to be a nighttime disc jockey, because when I was listening as a kid to the radio, it was the nighttime DJs that were cool. Right. They were cool. They don't want to hear about, I don't want to hear about the guy talking me and my wife got into an argument. That's what we do in morning radio. We talk about our lives. Oh yeah, my wife thinks I'm cheap because I didn't tip the 20%, blah, blah, blah. Nighttime guys were cool, just talk a little bit, play the song. So it's all different. It's hard to compare it. What was the best? You know, it's hard to I was big in Philadelphia. I had more success in Philadelphia than I ever did in New York City. Basically, because I spent a lot of time there. It's all about time. I spent a lot of years there, so that was kind of cool too. Does that make sense? That was kind of cool.
Yeah. So who has the best pizza, Philadelphia or New York?
You son of a bitch.
That'd have to be New York.
New York?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn.
Like Brooklyn pizza over Bronx pizza? Really?
I don't recall ever having pizza in the Bronx, to be honest with you. You know?
No. All right, bro. You missed out then. That's on you. But anyways.
The boogie down Bronx. Where did you live at?
Yeah. Dude, those guys knew how to make pizza, dude. They threw down, okay?
Wait, I thought you said pizza up.
There was a bunch of Italians. Well, they swirled it around and threw it back down. They were like, "You want extra cheese on that?" And I was like, "Yes, please." But no, seriously. So, dude, you've interviewed a lot of famous people in the music industry, especially. Can you name some of the top ones and some of the ones that were your favorites?
Okay, some of the top ones, Billy O, as far as famous, John Bon Jovi.
Oh, nice. How was that? How'd that go?
John was cool. They were cool. They were very cool. Billy Joe was a little bit of a douche. A little bit of a douche.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he was. He had a little bit of attitude. I interviewed Elton John. I interviewed, actually, I did not interview Bono. I met Bono from YouTube. Didn't do an interview with him. I did do with some of the players on the team. Janet Jackson.
Fuck.
Who else? Let's see.
Did she flash you her titty or no? I'm just kidding.
I wish she did. I wish she did.
I wish she did.
Who else? You know, all the rappers, 50 Cent. Janet
you can tell we're related, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
Snoop Dogg. I mean,
Snoop Dogg. Did you go backstage?
Yeah.
Why would he have to go backstage? He just handed it to him.
I know, right? It's just like this is like right there.
Who would be the biggest person I've ever interviewed?
How about Billy Idol? Did you get Billy Idol?
I got Billy Idol, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Billy Idol said, "Fuck" on live radio on Z100. So we're in Manhattan. I'm doing my Friday night live show at a big record store back in the day in the 90s. I forgot the name of it, but we're in Manhattan. He has a new album coming out. So before we go on the air, he's a special guest. Everything's blocked off. People are signing autographs, whatever. Hey man, we can talk about whatever. We're live on the radio. Just don't, please don't curse.
Tower Records?
Tower. It might have been Tower Records. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in New York City in Manhattan, and he's our guest on the show at night. I'm live. I got the whole crew there, and I'm just warning, because he's crazy in a good way. He's out there. He's like us. He just talks normal, and if a curse word comes out, it comes out. So I just to remind him, hey man, do me a favor. We're gonna be live, and please don't curse on the air. Oh, no problem. So hey man, it's Chio the Hitman Z100. We're live, Tower Records, wherever we were. Billy Idol's got the new album, blah blah blah. Man, so I asked him a question like, so how do you feel about your new music on the the new album? Oh man, I fucking love it, man. He just dropped a couple F-bombs, and not on purpose. He was just passionate. He was passionate, and he was comfortable talking. And it's just like the new music. He's just talking about how he's very proud of it. So he didn't do that to diss me or disrespect me. It was just natural conversation. But that's my Billy Idol story.
That's pretty cool, dude. That's
live radio.
That's pretty cool, bro. That's something right there. Like I said, it's the little things, bro.
Absolutely.
It's the little things. It's like somebody mistaking me at the Roxy or not the
Yeah.
Roxy, but the Rainbow in Hollywood for being
Yes.
Danzig,
Yeah,
buying me a drink.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's fun, dude. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's those little things, but that's so cool, dude, that you got to interview those people.
Mel
I know
Gibson.
you.
Mel
Mel
Gibson was one of the
Gibson.
big ones.
Wow.
Holy
That's
shit.
Tom
huge.
Cruise. Tom Cruise twice.
Wow.
Twice at the height of his career, twice. And a lot of people think Tom Cruise is nuts, so crazy, whatever. I had two of the best interviews in my life with Tom Cruise.
Really?
Nothing was off. No, normally when you interview a star of that status, they will give you certain things not to talk about. They just want to promote their movie or their album. Don't talk about this. Don't go there. Blah, blah, blah. Don't ask Jennifer Lopez about Puff Daddy's relationship. Just talk about the movie. Blah, blah, blah. Tom Cruise, no. There was no, don't do this. You could talk about whatever. And I had 10 minutes to talk to Tom Cruise both times. On the other end of that, Justin Timberlake was an asshole. They gave me 3 minutes.
Really?
They gave me 3 minutes. 3 minutes to talk to him. Okay, which I can't stand when an artist, because in the beginning they'll talk, and you'll relate to this because you guys are musicians. In the beginning when they're coming out, you got to kick them out of the studio when you're interviewing them. They want to hang out all day. They want to talk for 2 hours and eat with you. They love it, right? And they'll talk to anybody and sign autographs. Then they get to a certain level, and then they say 3 minutes. You only got 3 minutes, and that's it. And then with the 3 minutes, he's eating grapes as I'm interviewing Justin Timberlake.
Oh, come
He's
on.
eating. That's like me doing an interview with you guys, and we got to plan an interview, and I'm eating.
Yeah.
Like it's total disrespect. Now, I didn't, I'm a good guy. I'm a good radio type guy, and I'm not like a Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony, where I would rip you. I wouldn't do that, but I did. I was upset. Like in my mind, I'm saying like, is this motherfucker eating while we're talking? They're telling me 3 minutes. He's eating. So I'm saying that to myself. He's fucking chewing something as we're talking here. I asked him, are you eating something? What are you eating? He goes, oh, my bad. I'm eating a couple grapes. People are surprised when I say he was a little bit of a douchebag, to be honest. I'm being totally real with you. People are surprised. Oh, are you, especially women. Oh, my God, I love Justin Timberlake, JT. Yeah, he could sing talented. I'm not questioning none of that, his ability, but just it's too big for his britches, I guess. And if you remember Punk on MTV with Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
Remember when he got Punk? He showed like his true colors.
Yeah.
He's a real, you know what? So
yeah.
That's what
there's a lot of people in the industry that are, bro. You know what I mean? It's it is the way it is. Some people are humble, and some people are
correct. And some people know how to market what they need to market, like a Tom Cruise. He knows he has to be on and be bubbly, and he knows the deal. Some people hate it. Heath Ledger is another one. Rest in peace. Worst interview ever was Heath Ledger. He literally told us in the beginning, I hate doing this shit. I hate it. I cannot stand this part of being an actor. I did not want to do it. It literally was the worst interview ever and probably the shortest. So it was live. The first time around was live. And it might have lasted under 3 minutes live. And it wasn't a 3 minute window. It's just like he didn't have nothing to say, didn't really want to get talking to anything. It was just one of those guys when you do an interview and they give you one word answers. It was horrific. And then we made it a joke when we played it like 2 hours later. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the shortest interview ever. It was like 55 seconds. Without the dead air and chopping it all together. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And we might have said something about, I don't know, his girlfriend or something. I don't know. He wasn't happy about it, but that was the worst. Heath Ledger was the worst interview ever.
How do you get through those other ones? I mean, obviously you'll have worse than other ones. You'll have terrible ones. But when you have interviews that are just like pulling teeth, is it, we've had, Ralph and I have had shows where we're like, okay, this needs to end and it needs to end now. Just everything's going wrong, but we have to grin and bear it and get through. Are you able to go and thank you, we're done? Or do you have to go, motherfucker, we got how many more seconds before I can get out of this?
No, I've never had to get something. You know, Heath Ledger was a big star, so obviously we're going to have Heath Ledger on the show.
Right.
I didn't know he was going to be a tough interview. How do I get through with it? I just try to be as professional as I can. You know, I'll in my character and what I do and the type of shows I've been a part of, it's we're not about tearing down the other person. I'm being honest with you here on this platform.
Right.
This is about being honest. So I'm just sharing, because Ralph asked me a couple questions, sharing what were the tough ones, etc. But I will say when you're doing an interview with somebody, being prepped is key. So really being prepped and know who you're talking to. I interviewed Beck. You guys familiar with Beck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Beck came out in the 90s, and I was forewarned that he could be a tough cookie. So I tried to find something as I'm doing my prep with the individual that I can connect with. I try to find something that I can connect with as I'm looking up information. And I was told with Beck, I was afraid of that interview. You know, these are all live interviews. Nowadays, a lot of it is tape, so it's a little bit different. So I was forewarned Beck to be a little closed off, etc. Once he opens up to you, you know, things should be good. I found out he was a big fan of Star Wars. Star Wars, and he collects the caricatures, like the toys.
Oh, like the
Star
action
Wars
figures?
toys. The action figures. My producer at the time, this was at Z100 New York, he had a bunch of Star Wars action figures. So he brings them in that they were going to interview Beck. And like a bag, a grocery store bag, a bunch of them. And Beck comes in, he's got all his people, they just finished eating, they served them dinner first, and he comes in, this is like an interview like at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. Hey, welcome. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on the show. I got the bag underneath like the console, right? So I understand you're a big Star Wars fan, and you, collect the toys or whatever. I can't remember exactly how I said it. And he goes, yeah, and that kind of put a smile on his face. I whip out the bag and I dump it on the counter space, and that was one of the best interviews ever. That just opened him up, and it also told him that I knew my shit. Like, I did prep on who he was, not just about the music, on what he liked. So I tried to do that. I may not be successful like that with the toys, because a lot of the interviews are not in person. Some are, some aren't. But me getting that tip from his record label, from his management, was the deal breaker that made it. That me doing that made that night. That made him like me, and the rest of the interview was great. Because he's a weird dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's out there, So I try to find things like that where we can connect.
Right.
I'm not always successful like that with Justin Timberlake. That was on the phone 3 minutes, so there's not much. You really can't do anything other than sell the product.
Right.
They're coming on your show not because they're your friends. I wasn't friends with all the listeners think, oh wow, how cool is it to get to hang out with John Bon Jovi and stuff, and they sound like they're friends. No.
Right.
We do the interview, we take a couple, you see the pictures. Hey, it's me and Miranda Lambert. Now I'm doing country. My arm is around Miranda Lambert, etc. I talked to her for like 5 seconds, as much as the listener in line waiting to get her autograph.
Right.
So it's not what it seems per se, but trying to make them come. That's why I hate when an artist only gives you a limited amount of time,
Right.
because they're on your show to sell something, whether it's a book, movie, or album. They're trying to move product, trying to sell tickets. So in return, I want you as the celebrity to give me something. Meet me halfway a little bit. Meet me halfway.
Right.
Tell me something. I don't just want you on my show to promote the new movie. That's fantastic. I'm going to give you the free commercial. You're going to get the commercial. Movie's out today. Hey, Miranda Lambert in concert. October 15th and 16th. Tickets on sale. Boom, boom. Ticketmaster. Here, go get it. That's their free plug. Give me something. Give me something that's entertaining for the listener. That's my job.
Right.
Is to try to do that. So when they put all these limitations on, I almost don't want to do it sometimes. I don't want to, because it's not, the listener doesn't give a crap. They know, if they're a fan of a celebrity, they know the album's coming out on Friday or whatever day it is.
Right.
So I have to find entertainment. I got to find something to talk about that they care about. If that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense. So you're basically, you're delving into the area of trying to get to know them on a more personal level to give that to the fan base.
Yeah. Give me something that they might remember, that they might talk about. I'll give you an example. Carly Pierce, she's a big young country up and comer, has a couple hits. She just got divorced, quick marriage. So she's doing an interview in Canada somewhere, and she says, I'm not going to be talking about my my divorce, blah blah blah, and I get it, I understand it. My job at my end, if I was going to interview her, how do I? Because that's what people want to know. What happened? That's really what people want to know. What happened?
Right.
He cheated on you. I got it. You don't want to talk about it, but my gig would be how can I weasel myself in to get something out of her? When I'm interviewing, and I'll give you an example. I never interviewed her. I'm just giving you that example because that came out. No, yeah. I played that audio clip today on my show from another interview. I'm not going to be, as I move forward, I'm not going to be talking about my divorce. I'm interviewing Jay-Z, and he's dating Beyonce. The whole world knows it. The whole world. He hasn't talked about it. She hasn't talked about it. I cannot recall the way I did it, but I asked him a question, not directly about Beyonce, where he goes, in the middle of the interview, he goes, I like that, bro. I like the way you did that. Props to you. And he answered the question. But we talked about Beyonce without talking about Beyonce. Because it was a big secret when they first were dating. Everyone knew they were dating, but it wasn't out. It wasn't out. So we had a great interview. It was a great interview. And to this day, I recall him saying, like, he chuckled. He goes, I like that. That's pretty cool. I see what you did there. So they said, don't talk about Beyonce. Obviously.
So what about you, bro? Do you get personal with your fans? Do you let them know what's going on in your life on like a serious level?
Yes, as much as I can. I'm in. We don't want to. I do tell them a lot of things. To answer your question, yes, that's the only way you get to know someone is by sharing not just the good stuff in your life, but the bad stuff. So I don't spend all day talking about how I suffer from depression. I throw it in, it might come out in tidbits. It's not a long form conversation because it is a depressing topic per se, but it has come out in bits. When I was going through a divorce, some of that stuff came out. I would share a little tidbit here. So to answer your question, yes, the way listeners get to know us, radio personalities, is by sharing your stuff. The more vulnerable you are as a person on the radio, the more success you're going to have.
And how has because this ties into it, I think, how because you've been married for a long time, you got a divorce and then you got remarried to your wife, which is awesome. It's an amazing story. It's like the happy ending, you know what I mean? But how did you being a radio professional and with all the success that you had, how did that affect your relationships with your wife and your daughter and your son? And, you know what I mean?
As far as the wife, it affected her quite a bit. You know, she hasn't made any appearances here with me in New Hampshire, the whole COVID thing. But, you know, being called like, oh, you're Chio's wife. You know, she never had her own life. She was Chio's wife. And she's not just Chio's wife. She's Sean. She's a person. We got a little too personal, I think, in Philadelphia. I think I might have crossed the line a couple times that, you know, we had a couple arguments of certain things that I might have said on the radio that I said in a jokingly manner, but people don't know that it's a joke. So I remember when we got divorced, you know, she's moved around all over the country for me. And you know that. Yeah. You know, from Florida to 2 cities in Georgia, to San Diego, to New York City to Philly, Philly to Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix back to San Diego, from San Diego back to Philly. So she has, you know, uprooted herself and for my career. And how about her dreams? Mm-hmm. You know, we got your dreams. And when that came up in conversation, she was right. You know, how about her dreams? I'm a person too. How about myself? You know, I got dreams too, not just you. Okay, you got dreams and you're making money and that's how we live, but I have dreams too. And I'll share the same story that a big country star, Thomas Rhett, he just won Country Entertainer of the Year, coming up on his 8th anniversary. He's been with his wife for 8 years, and before that, they've known each other since like high school, middle school. So as he's making it in 2012, 2013, he's making it in Nashville. He's traveling everywhere, like a musician would, performing, trying to make it. He's making it. And his wife, was it the wife at the time? The wife is in Uganda doing some kind of charity thing. You know, trying some kind of charity thing. He's out there and wherever he's at, Nashville playing, drinking, having, I don't know if he's drinking, but having a good time. Is realizing his dream. And she's doing a charity thing in Uganda, like middle of nowhere with poor kids. You know, they're starving to death. And she realized at that point, and she had to check him. She had to, like, we're living 2 different lives. You're out there having fun. I'm trying to do charity thing. How about me? I have dreams too. So, yeah, that affected it in that sense. Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be a tough role.
Yeah,
you know?
That's pretty deep, bro. That's pretty deep. So, I mean, I don't want to hold you too much longer, bro, but I do want to get deep with you on a couple of things. So, you know, we've already gone through the fact that you're a successful radio DJ that's been doing this for decades, literally, and has worked for some of the top radio stations throughout the nation. And you've interviewed some big stars, and there's just a lot to learn from you. Before I get into the personal, I do want to ask you one thing though. What advice do you have for younger, both, either musicians or people that want to get into the radio business? What advice do you have for them to get to the level that they can do something? I know the COVID-19 thing kind of changed everything, right? So if you were to just kind of like lay it out like on a short platform, what would you say your advice is to a promising DJ or a promising musician? How do DJs get started? How do musicians get their music on the radio? That kind of thing. What are your thoughts on that?
As far as a disc jockey, radio, you really gotta ask yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. Like, do you truly love it? Is it in your heart? Like, you just got to go for it. You can't quit. Because lot of no's in life, a lot of rejection, as you probably know, you being a musician and bands, for a long time. You got to follow, and this is an old cliche, you got to follow your passion. But people do things for the wrong reason. So in my day, people would want to be a disc jockey to get the girls, position of power. Oh my God, I did this to get the girls. Maybe even rock. I'm not a rock musician, or I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities being in a rock band and you're performing and there's 500 people in the club and they're drinking and you're drinking. There's a lot of, you got to do it for the right reasons. Like, never, if that's what you really want to do. So I'm talking to you, Ralph. I'm talking, you've been doing it for a long time. You got to keep fighting, keep punching, as Rocky Balboa would say, keep punching. Don't give up. Don't ever give up if that's what's in your heart, and it takes a lot of work. People think it's easy. You got to be willing to sacrifice. That's another thing. A lot of people, they're not moving from their hometown.
No.
They're not moving. I left. I have a house that's almost paid for. It's a 5-bedroom house in South Jersey. I left there to come here, not for the money. I'm making the least amount of money I did since 1998. So since I started morning radio, it's not about money. It never was about money. I'm making a decent living. Okay, I can pay the bills and all that stuff. Because they gave me the opportunity to continue to do what I like to do. That's why I left my home and I'm living I'm renting a 2-bedroom apartment. Instead of being in a 5-bedroom house, 2-car garage, doesn't matter. I'm just trying to paint the picture. Doesn't matter. But most people my age, and you have my resume, would not do that. For the money they're paying me. Nobody would do it in their sane mind. Nobody.
But hold
on, Ralph. That's because they're doing it for the wrong. It's not. They're either tired of it, they want to give up, or I've had enough. I wasn't at that level yet. I've had enough, and I didn't want to settle. You heard that term, settle, like in a relationship. Oh, I don't want to just settle. I don't just want to be with him because I can't find nobody else, or I want to be with her because I can't find nobody else. Don't settle. I don't want to just be a disc jockey. Remember we talked, this goes to the beginning of our conversation, afternoon drive, like 2 to 6 in the afternoon, where you talk for like 15 seconds, like 3 times an hour. I did not want to do that. I could have probably got a job in Philadelphia doing that, at the least, at the minimum, doing that. If I was sitting there, I would get that. But I wanted to be able to do kind of exactly what I'm doing right now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, you're great at what you do, bro. So yeah, absolutely. I think, and I know that there was a time where you were making really good money. And,
yeah.
But that's life, right? You know what I mean? You've got your ups and your downs.
That is correct.
You know what I mean? So you kind of got to roll with the punches. I think the most, would you say that the smartest people are the people that kind of like invest in different opportunities in order, you know what I mean, to kind of level out the fact that there's ups and downs when it comes to economical?
That's what I did. I already knew that the shelf life of a DJ, a show could come crashing down at any moment. I already knew. When I was in Philly and in the big city, I already was thinking big picture thing of going somewhere where less pressure, have more more authority. Just where they kind of leave you alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Just like hands off. Tell me what I got to do a little bit, and just let me do my stuff. I know what I'm doing. I don't like to be micromanaged. Can't stand.
Yeah.
If you might, some people need to be micromanaged. Other people don't. You got to push people a certain way. I work a certain way. And once you get that on your end as a manager, you're going to get a lot from me than the other way. So I just love what I'm doing, and it beats working at Best Buy, I guess,
Yeah.
So what about the gig right now still drives you? Like, what do you love about your gig right now?
Well, I'm on a big giant station, so that was important. I wanted to in the market.
Right.
In this area, I'm on the country station.
What station is that?
That is 97.5 WOKQ from New Hampshire, out of Portsmouth, Dover, New Hampshire. I'm also on simulcast in Portland, Maine, which is a whole other market, on 103.7 The Peak. But I'm not talking about that station. I'm talking about the main one, 97.5.
Gotcha.
One of the main reasons, do you guys like sports or not?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, we're musicians, so we don't follow it a lot. Like I know you were a big baseball fan, as we talked about earlier, but I like football. You know what I mean?
So
Basketball's cool.
I want you to think of a winning organization. So the Los Angeles Lakers, they're one win away from winning their 17th championship, tied with the Boston Celtics. Those are great basketball organizations. In football, the New England Patriots are a winning organization. Day in, day out, they win. They're in the playoffs 20 years in a row, whatever.
Right.
It's a winning from the top down management. I wanted to be on a winning team.
Okay.
The station that I'm on is a winning team. My last, Real 106, Mix 106, and 95.7 KISS. So my last three stations, Mix 106 is in Philly, Real 106.1 Philly, KISS 95.7, where I saw my cousin again a few years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. Not those three stations are the last stations, not winning stations, not winning operations, like a new little station. So I wanted to be the big dog.
Gotcha.
Like when I was like Z100, big dog. KISS FM, Los Angeles, big dog in radio. Does that make sense? I wanted to be a part of that.
Right.
It makes it so much easier when you're on a winning team. So that's what I love about where that's the number one thing, the brand. It's Apple. Here's my iPhone 11. It's Apple. It's just successful. It's successful, and whether you're an Apple fan, that doesn't matter. It's a successful brand,
Right.
Successful device. So I didn't want to have a, I don't know, give me a crappy LG or Motorola. Motorola was big. BlackBerry was big back in the day.
Yeah.
They're dead now. I want to be on the iPhone, on the iPhone, or Samsung, a Galaxy.
Well, basically, in the entertainment field or any industry, people can smell and they can see talent. They can see if you're a diamond in the rough or you're well on your way. But what do you because you've done some amazing things in this industry. You've been on television, major radio. What do you think is the key to getting from point A, where you're obviously pretty talented, and people know that you're a diamond in the rough? You haven't gotten there yet. How do you go from there to achieving your dreams and your goals? Do you think that there is some kind of formula? Do you think there's a recipe for that? Or do you think it's just luck?
Not just luck. I wouldn't say there's a formula for it. I can only speak about myself, too. I can't tell you, like, you had asked me what advice to give to a musician. That's not my world, even though I'm a disc jockey. The record industry and what I do, we are linked together, but it's not my world. When I was in Savannah, Georgia, and before I made it to San Diego, I sent out a lot of tapes, dude. I sent out remember cassette tapes?
Yeah.
I literally sent out like just cassette tapes of my demo to stations all over America. And I got one call back. So that can be pretty depressing. I go back to not giving up. And anyone would tell you that. Whether you're an actor, actress, you can't give up. You hear, let's talk to, we're doing this podcast here with you guys. Let's talk about Joe Rogan, successful podcaster. I'm a fan of his, and he talks about him bombing as a comedian in the beginning, and it hurt, and he bombed and bombed and bombed and bombed. Look how he turned out.
Yeah.
So
I think you need those performances to become the person he is.
Yes, that is correct. So you just have to keep on going.
Right.
It's cliche. It's so cliche. You just got to keep on going. And like, you know what? You have to learn from what you did wrong. If you're a stand-up comedian, here's what I did. You got to dissect it. You got to study it. You got to practice your craft, whatever that craft is. And got to keep going.
Well, I know you like boxing because you're a big Rocky fan. And actually, I wanted you to do if you don't mind, bro, I know it's kind of calling you out on the spot, but would you mind doing your Rocky impression? Because
is this becoming a thing for our show, Ralph? What the fuck?
It's becoming a thing, bro, because my cousin, I remember when we were kids, my cousin's a little bit older than me. I'm talking about Chio, of course. But I remember he had just seen the Rocky movie, and I think it was Rocky 2. I don't think it was Rocky 1. I think it was Rocky 2. And I hadn't seen it yet. And I came over to his house in Brooklyn, and we're hanging out, and we're chilling there, and he's telling me all about the movie, dude. And he's just like so lit up, he's so excited about it. And he's doing the Rocky impersonations. So...
All right.
What the fuck, dude?
Not to put you on the spot, bro. You're a bum rock.
Yeah.
Come on, give me something.
All right,
you
Ralph,
want your locker back?
Give me the mic, and then I'll cut to Chio. We'll do Rocky and go.
You want your locker back? You're a bum.
You think I'm a bum? You think I'm a bum? You think I'm a bum now, bro? No, I'm not a bum. Yo, Adrian. Adrian. I love you. I don't know. You gotta life ain't a bunch of roses. You gotta go out there. You gotta go get it. I can't talk English, but I got punched in the head a bunch of times. I love
you,
dude. This is becoming an absolute normal thread through our show, man.
I love it. You know what, man? I love that movie. I identify with his character.
Fucking A, dude.
That's why I love, and I think a lot of people identified with his character. You talk about it, going back to Rocky. You talk about a guy who never gave up, man. They didn't want him in that movie. He wrote that movie.
No, that's true.
They wanted somebody else. He wrote that movie. He had like $2 to his name or whatever, $5 in his pocket. That's it. Wrote the movie. They want to buy it. Hollywood wants to buy it. And all right, we'll buy it from you. $250,000. Here it is. You got no money. $250,000 or whatever money they offered him back then in the 70s would have gone a long way. A long way.
Yes.
He goes, nope. I'm playing the fucking role, or you don't get the movie. That movie made him.
What's even crazier, he was so broke at the time, his dog, Buttkiss in the movie, was actually his dog in real life, and he sold him because he couldn't afford it. So at one point, the real Buttkiss in the movie, he sold to keep things going, and then when he got the money to do the movie, he went and bought his dog back, and now Buttkiss is in the movie.
That answers, Ralph. That answers your question. That and you can relate to that because you love the movie too. That answers your question on a guy who didn't have anything, was so felt so strongly on that character that he wasn't going to sell it. He wasn't going to sell out. He held on to the dream, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So your favorite Rocky movie out of all of them? Which one?
I gotta go one.
One?
One and then two. 1 and 2.
Really? You're not into three?
One. No.
Not into Clubber Lang?
No, I would say
Mr. T, bro.
My favorite is one. One. Rocky was one, and then I remember watching that thing that's real and shit. I'm like jumping up and down in the movie. Whoa, yeah! it's like when I used to watch wrestling. You know, I used to think it's real.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, dude.
That was huge. I remember you were so emphatic about that movie. I was just like sitting there like a little kid, you know, a little bit younger than you, and I was just like, wow, I want to see it too now. You know what I mean? It was just like,
I love it. I just love it, man. It's one of the best. Rocky 1 is you know what my favorite movie is?
What?
You know? Want to take a guess?
Debbie Does Dallas episode 37?
No, I want to say Secret Window with
Oh, I love that movie so fucking much, dude.
Secret Window? No.
My favorite movie. My favorite movie of all time. I don't even know what Secret Window is.
Oh, Moses, the Ten Commandments.
Really?
The 10 Commandments. I'm sorry. I dropped the ball there. That's right, because
that is my favorite movie of all time.
I don't remember if you had a Charlton Heston impersonation or not, but I remember that you used to always do that "Let My People Go" thing.
Let my people go. Pharaoh.
That's right.
Who do I tell
what?
people?
No.
Why?
Ralph, let him be Moses, goddammit.
Why is that your favorite people? Or your favorite, not your favorite people.
Hold on. Who do I tell the people sent me unto thee? This is the burning bush. I am who I am. Go, Moses. Take thy sandals off, Moses, as you are on the holy ground. Then he comes down. Oh, I love this. He comes down from the mountain. And Joshua looks at him. He has all the gray hair. He talks to Moses' wife. Look at Moses. He's back. He has seen God. And Moses comes up. Moses. You know, it's Joshua. Moses, what's going on? I'll go grab the chariots and we'll go to Egypt or whatever and get it. No, Joshua. It is not through our weapons or whatever they had. It is through this. I forgot what they call it. That shall lead my people out of bondage. Love that movie, man.
Man, you really do love it, dude. I mean,
What'd you say, Ralph?
Say that again, Ralph.
Dude, he really. You really do love that movie, bro. I don't know. I would have used the word obsessed. No, I'm just saying.
I love that movie.
So would you fight Charlton Heston?
What the fuck?
Charlton Heston was a bad dude.
He's like if he came up to you and he was like, I understand that you're a Moses fan. And he was just like trying to fuck it with you. And he was just like, put up your dukes or something. Like that.
Wait, are you talking about like right now, Charlton Heston? Meaning, would you fight like 89-year-old Charlton Heston? What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Would you just fucking knock him out, dude? Because you're from Brooklyn, bro. I don't know. So, I don't know. But anyways.
Did you just imply that people from Brooklyn would just straight up knock an old person on their fucking, just knock them the fuck out?
Dude, Mike Tyson used to sucker punch people all day long. He was from Brooklyn. So anyways.
Yeah, but Charlton
I did that one time. I did that one time. Hey, Cody and Ralph, I sucker punched somebody one time.
Did you?
Really?
In Brooklyn, yes. Yeah. Me and the Otis Black guy, my best friend at that time, from Brooklyn, a Jewish guy, a Jewish kid, a city Jew. Not proud of it, but
damn.
What were the circumstances there?
There was no circumstances. Us being like the stupid kids, like 12 years old, walking in the Brooklyn street, Jewish kids coming up, and before he's coming up, we got yo, I'm gonna sucker punch this guy. Actually, I think he did it, not me. But I was with him. I'm gonna sucker punch this guy. Okay, sucker punched him, and we just hauled ass. Just ran. Kid stuff. 12 years old.
Yeah, that's like the best circumstance. Like, what was your circumstance? I was a dumbass 12-year-old. That's perfect, dude. Ralph was like, "Hey, would you sucker punch like Charlton Heston like tomorrow for me?" We were talking about like 12-year-old stuff.
Yeah. At 12, yeah.
Sucker punch, Charles. Oh my God! Don't listen. You know what I mean?
Punch Mick.
Well, you know. Great. Listen, it's been great talking to you, brother. I just really have one more question for you because you've been a great guest, and I want to have you back on in the future. What are your thoughts? And obviously we can break this down over a few different segments, but what are your thoughts about the current political circumstances that we're facing? The current situation that we're facing with, the climate change and now COVID-19, and even more importantly, in my opinion, because of the Civil War that we experienced in history, the civil unrest that we are currently facing. What are your thoughts? What are your honest thoughts?
I'll give you a couple things. Obviously, things have to change in this country. This country's been having racism from the jump. Obviously, we still have it. Police training. They need, even policemen say that they need more training. From what I understand, a few cops have told us they need more training. They need to be trained better. But so things have to change. I don't know if they're going to change. I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to go back to, I hope there's a God. I think there's a God. And one of the things I remember from my mom telling me is that maybe in the Bible or their belief, man cannot rule man. Never happened in the history of the world. Ever. So, with that being said, Ralph, maybe the system of things, like it says in the Bible, is going to come to an end, and that's when things get better in a new system. But men, human beings, cannot run human beings. Can't do it. Impossible. Name me one successful in the history of the world. Impossible. There's greed. There's selfish people. We're all selfish. It's about money. It's about sex. Can't do it. You cannot do it. Never been done. So hopefully the whole system has to change in what the Jehovah's Witness preach. What the Bible, forget the Jehovah's Witness, the Bible. Only that will change it. That's it. That is it. Only that will change it. Some higher power, whatever that is, has to come here to fix it. Because a person can fix it. No leader can fix it. No leader can fix it. None.
So you think it's going to take the creator? It's going to take higher power, the creator, whatever you want to call it, God, the Almighty.
That is correct. Yeah, whatever that is correct.
It's going to take that being to come. Yeah, and he's going to have to. Obviously, he's going to have to, or he, she, whatever. They're going to have to come down and go, hey, by the way, This is where it's at.
Whatever,
You know what I mean? Where this is how it goes. Sorry I showed up late. You know what I mean? I know you guys have been waiting for thousands of years to hear from me, but
I think that's the only fix. There's no other fix. Yeah. Part B to that, we're born, and then if we live to 80, we're lucky we're dead. That's it. So you got
Dude, that is perfect. That's the way to look at it. It's like, look, here's how things work. You're born, you live, and you're out. That's all we know.
If you're lucky, you live to 80. You know, the average, I think it's 79, 74. You hit 70,
I think it's
75.
78, 79, yeah. But
that's it. And so you live to if you live to 80, go like this, and you're dead, and who knows what happens after that. That's it. Those are the two things. You got no other options. No other options.
Facts.
That's all. So either live it. This is it. Do the best you can. Like some Jewish people, that their belief is this is all we got.
Right.
So this is it.
So
do the best you can under this is it.
Well, how do you live?
More than this is it.
Well, how do you live your life then? How do you live your life?
I live my life as a Christian. I don't even throw gum out of my car window onto Mother Earth. That's destroying the earth. Why would you do that? That's destroying the earth. I've done that in the past. I won't even throw gum out. I just don't do it. I try to live. I do the 10 Commandments, man. I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. I don't harm anybody. I do a lot of charity. Just last weekend, I spent from 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock doing a virtual drive thing for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, the Portsmouth, New Hampshire chapter. I am on the board of directors of that organization. I try to give back as much as I can. I've been a big brother. I've been part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, not once, twice, two different kids. So to answer your question, that's how I live my life. I also live my life as if someone's watching me, as if there is a God, because that is your true character. What you do when no one is looking.
Right.
When no one is looking. What is? I ask myself this question always when I come across a problem. What's the right thing to do? Not what's best for me. Not what's best for me and my family. I ask myself, what is the right thing to do here in this situation? What's the right thing to do? So the right thing to do is, and I'll share a quick story, is a person buys a home, an old home, and he's a flipper. Okay, he buys homes, fixes them, and flips them. Buys a home from a woman who's lived in this house for 50 years. Finds $10,000. I read this today in the morning show. Finds $10,000 in this house, beat up house. 5 envelopes, 5 different locations in the house that they have forgot about.
Just straight cash?
What did he? Straight cash. 5 different envelopes. He's remodeling the house. Okay. What did he do? He just pocketed the cash. No one would know that the house is his. Sold everything. It's his house. He calls the owner. Old lady. Gives her the money back. That's the right thing to do.
Fuck yeah, dude.
No one's looking. So when no one is looking is the true test of your character. When no one is watching you. We all put a good front. Hey, I'm a good person, blah, blah, blah. It's when no one is watching you. Talk to yourself when you're by yourself. Just talk to yourself and go, oh, no one's going to know if I steal this candy or whatever. You answer your own question. You answer your own question on the type of person that you are. So to answer your question, Ralph, that's how I live today. That's how I live today.
Pretty amazing, brother. So final question, based on what you just talked about, do you believe that, how do I put this? Do you believe that your salvation or your relationship with the higher power, the creator, God, whatever you want to call him, Do you believe that that is based on whether or not you are going to church and a part of a certain religious organization and you have a denomination? Or do you believe that you can just be a spiritual person like the way I think that you are? Because I've known, you know, you're my cousin, I've known you forever. And I feel that you are more of a spiritual person than a religious organization type of person. So what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts?
I would say you don't have to, well, I don't go to church. But there's nothing wrong with going to church. I don't find anything wrong with a non-denomination. Right. I'm actually thinking I would love to find a non-denominational church just to be a part of a group of people, of human beings doing good things. But you don't have to go to church because, once again, he sees everything. If there's whoever is up there is there when no one's looking.
Right.
So you don't have to, you know, everyone has different theories, whatever, but there is nothing wrong in finding an organization to I don't see nothing wrong with that, or Buddhist, go meditate, go to a Buddhist place, and you're all doing the same thing. So, you know, I remember when I was part of a church like 10 years ago. You know, someone lost their kid or they lost their job. We all get together. We raise money. We help the family. That's what they did. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't go to like, yes, I wouldn't necessarily say Catholic. Like I want to pick a certain religion. Ralphie, I'm going to bring this back again one more time. When my dad recently passed, and the elder who gave the talk at the funeral, I asked him, I go, what made you become a Jehovah's Witness? Like, what is it about the organization? And I like what he said. He goes, you know, for me, it was about structure, living a good life, and trying to find a better world. He wasn't trying to sell me on the Jehovah's Witness, but just saying, you know, I just wanted structure, and I wanted to be a good person, and I found this organization to be real to me. And I love that. He wasn't telling me, you got to do this. I wanted structure. I wanted some guidelines to be a better person. And being a Jehovah's Witness does that right there. They're good people. I mean, they don't do bad things. I mean, we're all humans. We err. We make mistakes. We're humans. But
I think we all do bad things, dude.
Yes, right. Well, we're humans.
If we're gonna be honest, you know.
No.
Well, no. I mean, we're opening in a whole nother can of worms there, because you know as well as I do that the Catholics have been under pressure for many years about the whole child molestation thing. And to be honest with you, dude, there's very few religions that haven't been picked out for that kind of situation, including Jehovah's Witnesses. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to put them down, but that, you know what I mean? Whether you're Mormon, Scientologist, Jehovah's Witness, Catholic, born again Christian of whatever denomination, you know, there's a lot of fingers being pointed, you know, about that kind of situation. So, I mean, yeah, it when it comes to that, it's not perfect.
Correct.
Which points back to what Chio was talking about just now, which was it's between you and your creator. You don't have to go to church. Sit in your room, pray, and be the person you need to be that your creator expects you to be. You know, you don't have to sit there and go, I'm going to do it this way because everybody and their mother is doing it, so I'm going to follow that trend. You know, you do it because you think that's what you're supposed to do.
Just do what you think's right, whatever that is.
Right.
Do what you think do what you feel in your heart is the right thing to do, whatever that is. If the right thing to do is to suck up on somebody, and you think that's the right thing to do, so do it.
Chio Acosta, man. Let's call it there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this show, brother. You are awesome.
Thank you.
What do you have a website, bro, that people can look you up on and find out where, you know, what you're doing next?
WOKQ.com.
WOKQ.com.
That is correct.
Right on, duder.
That's what you got to do.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
brother.
much, guys. Chio, I appreciate you,
Peace
man.
out.
Thanks, bro,
Ralph,
for doing
thank you. I
this.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me, Ralph. You look good.
Thank you,
Tony,
bro.
I'm just meeting you.
Good to meet you, brother.
You look good too.
I try.
Ralph, let's catch up in a couple of months or whatever. Let me know when this gets out and all that stuff.
Yeah.